The Legion. So first YouTube video, and y'all are about to get the real raw me. It is now 9:18 at night. My baby is asleep and I am twisting my hair so I can get ready for work. Anyway, so for you guys who have been following me on social media, you guys who have been following me on TikTok and all of those things, you guys know that I'm originally from the west suburbs of Chicago, and I recently moved. Well, not recently, but I guess kind of less than a year ago, I packed up all of my stuff and I moved to Houston. One of the common questions I've had is, how did you find a place to live? How did you find a job? How did you this? How did you do that? And I said, you know what? We're going to do a video on that. So without further ado, I am going to give you about 8, 9, 10 tips, because Lord knows I can't remember, but I have it written down on my move and how I made it work. Now, disclaimer. 1, these are tips that worked for me. Please y'all, don't get in my comments saying it don't work, it don't this. This is what worked for me. 2, this is more geared towards moms, and it's not that only moms can listen to this. It's just because I'm doing it from a perspective of somebody who has a child. This is how I did things. Even if you don't have a child, you can still use these different tips possibly, and it can also to help your move. And this is specifically from Chicago to Houston. This may help other places, but obviously this is for my situation. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So number 1, the moment that you realize you're ready to move to a different state, save. It's never too early to save, because when you think about it, it comes down to a lot. All the stuff that you're gonna need. Getting a place, you may not have a job right away, so having that money for rent, bills, necessities, toiletries that you're gonna need, that first stuff that you need when you move into your place, furniture. And furniture is one of those things you can get over time. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I still got 2 pieces of furniture and I'm okay with that. We're gonna get there. Different things like that. With saving comes cutting back, and this is where the discipline comes in. The moment you decide that you want to move to a different state, I'm spitting. The moment y'all decide that y'all want to move to a different state, start cutting back on things that you don't need. I'll give y'all an example. When I decided that I wanted to go ahead and move out here, I got rid of these streaming services that I know I really don't use. At the time, Netflix was not something I was using. I was more so Netflix I was using. I had Disney Plus, I had BET Plus, and then Amazon. Now that's gonna be a hard one, y'all, but I cut back Amazon, BET Plus, all this other stuff. And when it came out, I was saving about $20, $30 a month. That's a lot of money that can go towards your savings, towards moving. So cut back on things that you don't need. Like me and Zaya lived by YouTube and Netflix up until it was time to move, okay? So anyway, tip number 2. And I'm sorry y'all if I'm rushing. I'm trying my best to not make this video incredibly long. Tip number 2, researching the area. So obviously, as y'all know, lately Texas has become the hot spot. People can say what they want about people moving here. I don't care about that. But what I am going to say is to do your own research. Don't be so quick to go off of social media. Don't be quick to go by the aesthetic. Don't be quick to go by all these influencers moving here or people who live here and stuff. Do your own research so you know where you want to go. The worst thing you can do is go solely off the internet and then you move here and you don't even like it, or anywhere for that matter. So researching the area. So some important things that I looked into was neighborhoods. With me having a daughter who at the time was about to start kindergarten, my biggest thing was where would she go to school? Will it be a neighborhood that I like? Will it be a neighborhood that's safe for her? Also, as y'all know, Houston gets hurricanes. What are the flood zones? And that's a question that you can ask when you're touring places. A lot of apartments, some may not be honest with you, which is why you just got to do your own research, but areas that are more prone to a lot of flooding. Because believe it or not, I've learned, and this is just from what I've learned, when there's hurricanes and storms, every single area in Houston is not flooding. They may get the aftermath. Recently, we actually had a tornado out here. I got the aftermath. My side got the aftermath, the wind and the rain. Other sides was torn up. So it just really depends on what area you live during these natural disasters and stuff. So researching, also demographics. For me, diversity was key because I wanted to know kind of where I was looking into. Like, what am I looking for and where do I plan on moving? That's super, super important before you jump and move. Okay? Also, public transportation. Now, I was not born in no car. I did not always have a car. So for a minute, I was on the bus for a while, and if y'all know Chicago has a very strong and large public transportation system. So we got L trains, we got metros, we got Pace bus, we got CTA, we got like all this stuff. Whereas I don't think Houston's public transportation system is as big. So if you don't have a car, how are you going to get around? If you do have a car and your car breaks down, are you in a position where you think you'll be able to afford to get the car fixed, or do you think you're going to be on a bus or in a Lyft or Uber? That's something else to consider. Being things are different out here than it may be in your city, your hometown or your city. Next up, work. Now, this can be a difficult one because people have asked me, how did I find work? And it depends on, first of all, your career field and like what you do. So many people have the opportunity, and y'all, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm trying to talk fast. Whew, and my posture. Okay. Anyway, it just kind of depends on your career field. Some people have jobs where they can transfer. If you work like in real estate maybe, or if you work for an agency. The agency I worked at back home, I'm trying to get back with them, but they were in Illinois, and then they moved out here, but they moved to Dallas and Austin. Like, I was if your job is transferable, then you got your foot in the door, okay? When it comes to apartments and stuff, like you can't easily just go, you can easily go ahead and start looking for apartments because you already got a job. As for not having a job that's transferable, what is your salary? Think about, what is the salary? What we get paid out there is way, way more than out here in Houston. So, you want to look at that, consider that. What is your range for apartments? Like, are you trying to pay $900? Are you trying to pay $1,000? Is your career going to fit into that bracket? What are you looking for? So that's also something that you need to consider. Also, another good tip is when you begin your job hunt, reaching out to employers as soon as you want to begin moving is key. Now, it may sound like a good idea only to wait up until you're about to move, but one thing that I started reaching out to employers like 2-3 months in advance, setting up virtual interviews, putting a bug in their ear, letting them know, hey, I'm gonna move. That way, I had a couple employers tell me to reach back out to them when I moved out here. Now, I already had a job, so I didn't, but that also helps you because begin that networking process prior to you moving. Don't wait. If you're moving in July, don't wait till June to start looking for no job, okay? Start in March, start in April. Get your foot in the door just to get a feel of what employers are looking for, get a feel of, what's going to be available by the time you move. It's a good way to start. So, yeah. Anyway, apartments. This kind of goes into when I was talking about researching the area. So decide, what apartment do you want? Do you want a townhome? Do you have the money and you just want to get a house? Do you want an apartment? Do you want a luxury apartment? Like, it's a lot of options now. Do all the hard work. Get yourself an apartment locator. And I say luxury apartments because a lot of these apartment locators, they don't do like basic apartments. They do a lot of the high-rise, mid-rise type apartments, townhomes and stuff. If you're a person who wants one of those, I highly suggest sites on Instagram or pages on Instagram like Apartment Lists, I think they're called. Smart City Texas, TX, I think it says. Y'all, I'm so sorry, I can't think of the name, but just like go on Instagram and type in things like, for my case, it would say like Houston apartment locator and like the hashtag, and it'll give you a list of all these realtors. They help you get apartments for free. Like, they help you find apartments for free, because if you choose that apartment, then they get paid like commission for you choosing an apartment. So it's a free service. It's a lot of them out here, but that's one idea that you guys can do if you're looking for an apartment. Another option, hold on, y'all, I'm looking at my notes. Write down a list of questions that you have. So like, after you've decided that you want to move, you're doing your homework, you're doing your research, where you want to go, this and that, set up all your apartment tours. So I had like a big list, and if I can take and insert it on the side, I will. But I had like a really, really big long list of all the questions. Like, do they take pets? Are they flood zones? How much the one bedroom is? Do they have a secure place where I can pick up my mail? Like, do they have this? Do they have that? So you make a list of all these things you want to ask, so that when you're ready. Because another thing with moving out of state, it's not like you live down the street. So once you take that trip to visit apartments, you can't be going back and forth all week long trying to get all your questions ready, get it written down in your phone, whatever the case is. So when you actually go to the apartment tour, you're ready. And then again, a lot of these apartments, I think mine was like first month's rent and like a deposit to move in, but I don't think it was first and last. So like every apartment has different requirements as well. So that's something else you want to look into, just knowing what works for you. Like that's the biggest thing. When I visited, well, anyway, I'm gonna go to the next thing. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Okay, so how are you moving? This is the step that's super important as well. Well, they're all important, but this is super important because, you know, now you've decided you want to move. You've decided, you know, this is going to happen. But how are you going to come out here? So are you going to fly and you're going to get, you know, mail all your stuff to your apartment? Are you going to drive? Are you going to get a U-Haul? They have like U-Haul pods or something now. You have to like, and I'm sorry y'all, I'm looking over here at myself, but the camera's over here. They have like U-Haul pods or whatever now where you can attach to your car and carry stuff. I don't know, I didn't do that, but I've heard a lot about them. You know, there's different methods if you transport your car, y'all, that's about $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, depending on the distance, depending on where you're going. And I think you have to pay like half before you even go. Me, on the other hand, thankfully, I have a bunch of uncles, and one of them was nice enough without any questions asked, except where I'm moving to, drove me from Chicago to Houston. Okay, so really fast, an important part. My uncle actually has a Hummer. So he rented one of these U-Haul attachments to go to the back of his truck, and he put my car on there, and that's how he drove me to Houston, basically. So he drove me. I packed everything in my car, and a lot of my stuff is still in my mom's house. Well, I have my own place back home, but I left a bunch of stuff with her. So I moved most of my main stuff out here. I got rid of my couch and like all that stuff in my old apartment, and I packed what I could, and then he drove me out here. So I was blessed for that. Saved so much. But yeah, that's another option. Also, if you do choose to drive, make sure you know the gas, make sure your car is up to date. You know, you don't want to be out in Utah and your car breaks down and you ain't got no service. Like, you just want to make sure you take precaution if you do choose to drive over to whatever the case is. The next tip, y'all, is childcare. For y'all who have kids, like I said, this is more so geared towards moms, but you know, if you have children, childcare. Is your child old enough? You have a 12, 13, 14-year-old, you know, who's a little more independent. You ain't got to worry about babysitters as much if you know, don't want to, or do you have little ones? For me, so how I did it, honestly, y'all, over the summer, I was blessed enough to be able to just leave my daughter with my family and her father. That way I can get settled in. Also, school wasn't in session, so it's in session in the summer, of course. So it kind of saved me the money and time from having to drop her off right away after we've moved here to somebody's summer camp, not knowing, or somebody's daycare or a sitter or whatever. And I'm just kind of out here and she's just out here. So I left her there. However, she began kindergarten when I moved. So I was blessed enough. I work in education, so I was blessed enough to be able to work at a school that allows her to attend because I work there. Also, y'all, I did work at a summer camp program by the time Zaya came back, so she did attend there as well because I worked there. With that, for my people who work as educators or just can relate to this, the downfall to that is like working a job like this. If I choose I want to quit this job, she's not going to be able to stay at the school. So that's like a situation. But like, I can go more into detail, like if y'all want me to, if y'all want to ask questions, or you know, all of that good stuff. So that's something else. Also, I learned there's a place called Adventure Play. So hear me out, y'all. They have a late night childcare center. I actually toured that one, and they're pretty nice. They have one in Cypress. They have one in Katy, I think. They have one in another part of Houston, I forgot. I think they have one in Pearland too. But anyway, it's an Adventure Play, and like these are like daycare centers or childcare centers that are literally open until like 12 o'clock in the morning. So if y'all work late or if y'all want to go out, moms, dads, whoever want to go out, that's an option. And they're actually fairly cheap. They're only like $12 an hour too. So I mean, think about it. For 5 hours, you're only paying $60, which I think is really good. The kids get fed, like, and I hear they be having pizza nights and stuff, so they get fed, like, have fun. They have like a little play area in there. They have like STEM projects, like all this stuff. It's a really nice center. So that's definitely something to look into. And then there's just like a one-time annual registration fee. I think it's $100. I forget. I never actually sign Zaya up for it. But that's definitely an option, and I learned that from another YouTuber. I don't know her name for the life of me, but she was explaining her transition like 5 years when she moved to Texas. So anyway, y'all, another tip is visits. Like I was already saying in the other on my other tip about visiting apartments, y'all, my hair is crazy. I was already talking about, visiting, but don't go off of social media. I hear people say all the time, I didn't visit the apartment and it got roaches and it got this. Visit these apartments, y'all. People catfish, people lie. Like, don't think just because it's in a nice area, it's gonna be nice. Let me tell y'all something. For y'all who are familiar with Pearland, Texas, that is a fairly nice area. And I just knew this apartment was gonna be it. Like I saw this apartment online, I'm like, this gonna be the one, this gonna be the one. I went to Pearland and I was highly disappointed when I came out here for an apartment tour. It was outdated now. It's nothing wrong with white appliances. Like, I'm not about to act like I'm all better than anybody because my other apartment was like that. But it was like outdated appliances. They were all white. I'm in a 1-bedroom now, but that one was 1 bedroom, smaller than mine. It was just small. It was all carpet. They told me they don't come. So just to clarify, that picture had a microwave in it, but they told me the microwave didn't even belong there, y'all. Versus here is a tour of the place that I actually live at now, and this is how it looked. And the base rent was like $919. So yeah, microwaves, and they wanted like $1,100 for it, and it was not that, girl. Absolutely not. Check out these apartments, okay? If y'all can, and that requires you to save some more, y'all. So again, additional money has been pushed out because it's best for you to save money. Try to take a trip. I put aside money and I took a trip. I was here Wednesday through Sunday, and I had a list of apartment tours along with some interviews. So when you visit to wherever you're gonna move, in this case Houston, make sure you have let these shops know, hey, I'm gonna be out there April 2nd. I can come in for an interview. I'm available. A lot of these employers like the fact, like, if they see somebody's coming from a different state just to interview with them, like, that lets them know, like, you're not all talk, like, oh, she really gonna move if she took a trip here just to see us, excuse me. So, use this time to do everything you need to do. I also got a rental. It's impossible to get around here without a car, it feels. So, I got a rental. I was able to drive around, just really get a feel of the area, and it just felt good because it let me know, like, this is actually where I want to go. So visiting the apartment is key, okay? Or, the area that you plan to move in. Okay, and then this part is I'm just gonna give y'all some additional information on just, I feel like stuff that I think y'all want to know. Again, like I say, if y'all have kids and it kind of works out in a way, thankfully, like, God worked it out because, y'all, my lease ended in like May. Also, when school was letting out, so it kind of worked out. My lease and they got out of school, like, went hand in hand. So I didn't have to worry about school or nothing. Like, she was going out for the summer, so it was just really easy for me to move. Also considering a nanny. I'm still considering a nanny because I just kind of want to have that solid one person. And there's different agencies too that you guys can look into. I plan on going with an agency, but looking at the agency sitters, I'm not a fan of care.com and stuff like that because I feel like when people don't be legit, half of them don't have background checks. I'm sorry, I just don't like it. Not saying it's everybody, but I personally don't like them. I'd rather go to an agency. They're pricier, but like agencies I feel like are a little more legit. But that's just me. And I might do a part 2 to this because I feel like it's a lot more, and I feel like questions will potentially be asked. But also, if you're moving alone, build a network. If you're a religious person, and you're a part of churches or temples or whatever the case is, make a network of friends. Meet new people. Try, even though it's hard, try to be social, meet new people because, if you're moving alone, at the end of the day, it's just going to be you and it's just going to be God. And, you want to try to make a network of some people that you be able to call. I have a couple of people, like I have a couple of family out here that I know I can always, stop by or call on. My boyfriend, he lives in Dallas right now, but I do know that I have him as well, and I have a couple of people that, I became cool with just to have those extra people so you don't always feel like you're alone. You know what I'm saying? But last but not least, I'm sure somebody's going to try to drag me for this comment, but Forget what people say. I done heard so many people comment, don't move to Houston, we pack, child. Every place in America is packed. Let me tell y'all, every place is packed. So when it all comes down to it, don't let other people discourage you from doing what you know is for you. Everybody is not going to understand what you're doing. Everybody's not going to get it because God did not give them that vision. God did not give them that goal. This plan is not meant for them. It was meant for you. So go after your dreams, even if you're not going to do anything crazy, crazy good you feel like. Even if you're not moving here to be a doctor, or you're not here to, go into real estate or whatever. If you just want to change, or a change of pace, or you want to move someplace new, make that leap. You know, in your gut, if you know it's time for a move, go for it. I feel like a lot of people talk mess because they see, people from the outside coming in and living better than them. They're happier, they're comfortable, and they miserable. Don't let miserable people take away your shine. Okay? Anyway, I love y'all, and I hope y'all enjoyed this first video. If y'all have any questions, comment below. Also, my TikTok is Taisha Bernice, as well as my Instagram, and y'all can ask me some questions on there. Until next time, I'm about to finish my hair so I can go to bed. Bye, y'all.